Okay, let's see. Testing, testing. I think we should be live right now. Guys, let me know if you can hear me now. Something was going on with the microphone as always. We are here. It's been a while since we've been live. Let me see. Let's see. I imagine not many people are going to come out, especially this early in the morning, but that's fine with me. I'm going to go live anyway. We got some topics to cover here. Thank you guys for coming out. This is Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And it's been a while, so this is just going to be a check-in, just a live stream check-in on some sports, entertainment, and empowerment. And empowerment means money. All right. So we got to focus on where the things are pretty important. We got some things that happened over the last few weeks. I moved to a new location, so that's pretty cool. Was taking care of that in the background. We got Asafa Powell that retired. All right, many people, I'm pretty sure you know that. But I actually thought Asafa Powell was about to. I thought Asafa Powell was about to do something else. Like he was just kind of not gonna retire officially, and he was just kind of gonna float there. You know what I'm talking about? I thought Asafa Powell was gonna do one of those numbers because he hasn't been to himself in multiple years actually. But I thought I thought that he was going to. Let me mute this real quick so that these notifications won't be making a ding sound. Okay, so I thought he was just gonna stick in and stick to his normal thing and just maybe race or maybe not race. But hey, look, it is what it is. He had his 40th birthday, and that's just kind of how it is. Athletes get around 40, give or take. I think 40 is like almost a hard cutoff date. But as we saw, was it Kim Collins at 41? But as we see, oh my goodness, I apologize for the background. There are people yelling. But right around 41, give or take about two, 3 years, and the performances kind of drop off drastically. And I really mean the take part, not necessarily give. Because I look at it and I'm like, okay, 40, with a rare exception, rare exceptions, after 40, and you're not really doing something. Remember Bernard Lagat? Yes, he set the age group records at I think 39 and 40. I think Haile Gebrselassie might have set some too, or he just stopped competing. But right around that 40, 41, I think at the latest, and elite performances, and you don't really got it like that anymore. So let's zoom in on this page at least. Okay. Asafa Powell, who held the men's 100 record before Usain Bolt, has retired from track and field. He celebrated his 40th birthday and retirement party on Wednesday. Bolt filmed the video to wish his countrymen well upon retirement. Isn't this kind of interesting that Powell lasted this long? That means he was before Usain Bolt, after Usain Bolt. Was he before Justin Gatlin? Or was he right around the same time? I think they were right around the same time. But man, like imagining somebody that lasts that long in the sport and then at a high level. Now, he didn't really perform up to where he may have performed as far as medals, especially at the Olympics in the 100, having broke the world record twice and probably could have been the first person. But we can't credit somebody for what they didn't do. But I will mention it. Probably could have been the first person to break 9-7. But yeah. Good morning, Kareem. Good morning, Kareem. Shout out to you. Man, I've been taking care of business in the background. Y'all know. Like I said it before. I said, I will break down the whole YouTube channel. It's not the biggest, but I realize that it's a good brand. It's good enough brand for Olympic commentators and stuff to be told. I don't think it's their idea, but I think they were told to, use that phrase and everything with head and shoulders above the rest. And, NBC and other media corporations, hey, they did it until I said something. Maybe they've been doing it. I haven't really been paying attention. Who knows? They might bring something back next year. World Athletics, they got their thing. So I've been taking care of things in the background. We might get some things. Who knows about a track and field league? That'll be some years down the line. But I have to take care of business now in order to do that because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I know USATF got a budget of about 40 million, and Nike's half of that. So we got some things to do. But I've been taking care of business. So, but Powell, I thought he actually had 100, but then I did look at it. I think I had counted somewhere like 95 or 98, somewhere around there. But he got 97 sub 10 100-meter performances. And I did notice, that's what I think I mentioned that earlier this year with Asafa Powell. Last time he broke that was in 2016. 2016, last time he broke 10 100. He hasn't been back to himself in a very, very long time, especially in the sports world. You go 6 years, that means he's gone through another Olympics, and he's gone through several world championships, and he hasn't broken 10. And you know that that's pretty much needed. And a few of these, you need to break 10 to make the finals. So in order to get a medal, you need to be breaking 10. But Powell lowered the world record to 977, June 14th, 2005. Man, still running 977. That's still pretty quick. That ain't no slouch. Going into the 9.7s. And think about it. That was with yesterday's technology. That was technology back then. I wonder. I wonder. So he held the mark until Bolt broke it on May 31st, 2008 for the first of 3 times. Yep. Fastest man in history without an Olympic or world 100-meter title. That is kind of crazy. Safa Powell, as it was admitted by himself, after I think what happened in 2004, maybe 2005, he kind of got that mental thing. What was the championships where he suffered that false start? It was that one. When he did that false start, he said it kind of affected him at these championships. So that is telling you, when people keep coming at me and saying, well, how could you say that this person is suffering from this or whatever? It's like, yeah, I might not know, but hey, as a commentator, we have a narrative that we can go with, and that seems logical. And it seems logical that if these other performers, they are able to destroy athletes, because you guys have no problem saying, well, they can run this fast time, but against fast competition, can they do it? Can they do it against the most elite? Hey, that makes sense too. You get jittered by the big names. You get jittered by somebody coming out fast like Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. You get jittered by somebody blazing out on you like Asafa Powell until the championships, when he defeats himself, essentially, because he's got that mental block. And that is what really did it in for him. He was so nervous, so scared that those things really, really, really blocked him out. So, but congratulations on a otherwise great career, where he got medals on the relays. He got medals in the Open. He's part of he's part of history. He's part of history. When you get a gold medal, when you get a medal at all at the World Championships or Olympics, you are part of history. Nobody can take these things away from you at all whatsoever. This is something that should be celebrated. So congratulations, happy belated birthday, even though I don't celebrate those myself, to Asafa Powell, and a great career for him. A great career. If I had to pick a career over something like myself and Asafa Powell, or let me not do it like that because that makes it seem even worse. If I had to pick a career between so many other athletes and Asafa Powell, I will pick Asafa Powell. Look at the amount of times he's able to break the 10 in 100. I mean, he had a commercial. What was that? I think it was like a watch. He was looking at his watch. He was like on some kind of, what was it, treadmill or something? Or in the office. I'm getting so many other commercials probably mixed up. But I still remember one, or a combination of one, where it was like he was like in some kind of office, and then they had him standing there, and then he ran, and then he was like back there already. And it was like he was adding up the amount of times that he broke 10 seconds. I just have so many good memories of Asafa Powell really coming out here and putting in that work. And so, yeah, Let's see. In 2004, Powell had the fastest semifinal time in the Athens game, then placed fifth, won by Justin Gatlin. Now that to me epitomizes some of what he's been doing. Now a lot of people like to point out Ta Lou running fast times, but it turns out his fastest time or his fast time was in the semifinal. You know, you know. And here it is, 2008, after injuries early in the year, Powell had the second fastest semifinal time in Beijing and then placed fifth in the Olympics again. This kind of sounds like a narrative here. Fast time, one of the fastest time, placed fifth in the final. Powell pulled up in the London final and was the last finisher. Now, I remember that. He was the only person in the field not to break 10 seconds. I remember he had pulled up and then he kind of just jogged it in. 2016. That's when he finally was just on a relay. I think they got gold on that. Yeah, obviously they got gold on that relay. And then I don't think they cover the world championships here where you got that bronze. But yeah, this is so crazy. Look, they even mentioned Tyson Gay. Last race, May 21st. Or May 2021, 40 years old. That's crazy. When you get to just these older ages, that's why I look at Shelly Ann Fraser Price just with bated breath, and I'm just like, when is the moment it's gonna? And I don't know. Is it gonna be like a steep like last season? She just ran a 10.5 something, right, or a 10.6 low, and then next season it's like, yeah, she's barely struggling to break 11. I mean, she's struggling to break 11 if she even breaks. Is it going to be one of those? Or is it going to be this and then she gets injured and then she's done? Because, you know, at a certain age, it's like, hey, you get injured, you're trying to rehab. And as she said, she hasn't really recovered from that toe injury. She still has that. It's more like she manages that. She hasn't recovered from that toe injury. So it's so many different things. And then to Tori Bowie. Let's talk about her for a second. I'm not going to bring her up here right now, but let's talk about her for a second. Now, she's retired. It would be nice for her to come out, but for real, I don't really see her coming out of it because otherwise she was struggling with finances in the sport. And that's one of the problems here. And so many people say, okay, let's make this a sport. Let's make this a real sport. The track and field is a real sport. That's one thing. Then secondly, if we open it up, it could be like, okay, now the people that might be hurt the most, because there's a reason why it's like this. Let's say that the coaching, let's go from the coaching standpoint to get to Tori. Let's go from the coaching standpoint. Let's say that the best coaches aren't just basically 5 people in the sprint world. We're going to focus on sprint here. Similar, maybe so with distance. But let's just say that there aren't just 5 coaches that basically produce most of the gold medalists, the world record holders, and everything like that, men and women. And I think it's somewhere between 5 and 7, and then an unofficial rotation of another 4 or 5 people that come in every once in a while, and then they get people to make finalists and everything like that. Okay, let's look at it this way. Okay, if you have those 5, will it change at all if you just said, let's give everybody all of the secrets? Because even I teach people trading in cryptocurrencies, right, with education. But I don't tell them everything. That wouldn't even make sense. Because if I told you everything, number one, somebody should look at me funny if I was willing to teach you everything, right? Because that means I don't know what I'm talking about. Or 2, maybe I got something else to sell. I teach you everything and now I have an indicator to sell that makes me a few $100s per pop, right? But then also 3, the most important thing. If I teach you everything, number 1, that wouldn't work anymore, right? Number 1, that wouldn't work anymore. And 2, you are now my competitor. That's like those multi-level marketing pyramid scheme things, scams actually. If I'm recruiting and I gotta pay, and then I recruit the next person and I make money off of them paying as well, they gotta pay my entry, the product or whatever is sold, right? That's like that. So now I give information out. It's like I'm recruiting my next salesperson that will be competing against me. It doesn't make logical sense. Now in basketball, now we got what's his name over there in LA that was with the Bulls, that was in Chicago. So he went from Chicago to Los Angeles. And I can tell you, the Lakers and the Celtics, they both have 14 or 17 championships each. There's 34, yeah, 34 between both of them. And there's 17 each between both of those franchises. So you're telling me Boston and Los Angeles, and how many teams are in the NBA? And basically, there's like 5 or 6 that got almost all of them. And of course, the Celtics and the Lakers have the most, tied with the most. But there's like 5 or 6 teams in all of them there. So is it really going to do anything different? I doubt it. There's still going to be it's probably going to be 2, maybe 3 coaches that have almost all the wins and the world records. Even if you were to change this, you make this a team-based sport, you make this where it's all of those things, it's still going to be like basically 2 franchises, which is coming down to 2 coaches, and they're going to just have everything. Now, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? The basketball coach. Does he tell everybody his secrets? No, he might write a book. He might tell people his thing. And he probably does adjust things. After he tells somebody, he probably adjusts it because other people can learn from the outside in. But are they going to beat him? No. They're not going to beat him. They are not going to beat him. So when we look at this in track and field, is it going to help a Tory Bowie if more coaches knew the same knowledge? Maybe, maybe not. Now, will it help funding to the sport? Funding to the sport comes down with an easy to follow format. That's what it comes down to. An easy to follow format. That question I asked you guys the other day, I think I should bring that up here. Give me just a second. I'll bring it up on the screen. If you guys have anything to say here, either on the live or the post recorded, let me know. Let me bring this up on the screen real quick so that I can make this point here. Because there was a 50-50 tie. I'm actually a little bit surprised that there's a 50-50 tie among this. There's a 50-50 tie in this survey right here. Let's bring this up on the screen. Now, I did ask this the other day. So let's zoom in here. Okay. Now, this one says it right here. It says, what's more important if you had to choose one to start for a decade? If you had to choose one to start for 1 decade. Remember, a decade like that in our lives. Decade would be by, and why? Now, there was maybe one explanation there, and that was a very good one. Now, it says a functional track and field league. There's 24 votes. 12 people voted one, 12 people that is, I mean, it's up in the air, right? A functional track and field league versus a superior track and field media coverage. So for the people that chose superior track and field media coverage, they thought, okay, right now we have a great or good enough track and field league. We just need more exposure. See, then the other people said a functional track and field league. And if that means, they said, yeah, the media, whether it's there or not, it's going to be, if it's not functional, it doesn't matter how many people you show, it's just not going to be good enough. You're going to get more people, sure. And the way I look at it is like this. If Usain Bolt, this is where I'm leaning on, a functional track and field league. If Usain Bolt got 1 billion, he got the most views ever at the Olympics. If Usain Bolt was able to draw that crowd, and those people saw his race, and those people saw his other races, while it wasn't 1 billion at once, concurrent viewers, and there were other people seeing other races, and they saw races with Usain Bolt and other athletes like Mo Farah and all those things, and they didn't stick around to watch other sprint races. Let's just forget about the distance and stuff for a second. Let's just say they're not sticking around to watch the sprint races. That tells me there isn't the same interest, because maybe the sport needs to improve. Maybe we got to look at it like that. Yeah, you're not going to get the same amount. Just like the NBA championships, the World Series for MLB, the World Cup for soccer and whatnot. You're not going to get the same amount of viewers in the regular season. Sure, you're going to get more at the championship season. Yeah, all championships, okay, great, that makes sense. But are you getting people to stick around? And why or why not? If it's hard to do that. Like, for example, the jargon in track and field, like all other sports, maybe it's a little confusing. Maybe it's more like that. The way I look at it is this person ran fast. Do we got to know what type of technology or whatever is there? To be honest, I'm like, are we talking to tech people or are we talking to regular, average, everyday people? Do we know that? Somebody tell me if you're watching F1 or NASCAR, are you watching and they say, well, this is the hottest car frame? Well, they might say that, and then this means this many, whatever. Do they focus on that? I don't think they focus on that. And I think in track and field, we focus too much on some irrelevant stuff. Yeah, sure, we can make a mention of things. It's nothing wrong with us mentioning things, but we are focusing on the wrong things. And instead of clash ups and matchups that they're doing a little bit now, I give them credit for that. We're focusing on the wrong things. And so I think that sometimes we get stuck in our own bubble as track and field people and then say, hey, this is that. And all we just need is more people to know about it because I just don't know where track and field is. And well, look, track and field used to be the #1 sport in the United States. So it went from #1 sport to then falling off. It didn't do that by accident. Other sports seem more exciting, more concrete and easy to follow. So people naturally went in that direction. Is that simple? So where I lean on this is having an easy to follow format. And then we get that coverage that's very, very good. Obviously, if I had to sacrifice one or the other, I'm giving my best product out there. And then I have okay media coverage. That doesn't mean that you don't know what time it appears. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree on this. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree on that topic right there. I'm looking for okay media coverage. And I want the best damn freaking thing that you can come up with when it comes down to the coverage within the sport. I mean the performance of the product, which is the sport. The product is the sport itself. If you look at a product and say, what am I selling? I'm selling the sport. And who helps me sell that? The athletes. What are we going to focus on? There's plenty of things that we can focus on when it comes down to this sport. And one of them would be allowing us to see more of the background of the athletes leading up to all of these things, giving us a narrative and a storyline that's really fun and exciting to follow through. Right? And that's one of the things that we will push. Remember, this shouldn't be that difficult, guys. This shouldn't be that difficult to do that. Now, the difficult part is to getting people to stick around. I understand. Difficult part is to get people to stick around. But yeah, this was a very, very interesting poll right here. 24-24. Let's go here. Let's go up a little bit, or maybe we go down. Let's go to Kyrie Irving since I put him as the profile picture. I accidentally put the other one. Let's go down to Kyrie Irving. So he shared this. This is all within sports. I stick to sports most of the time. So I had this post here, and there were some people that was a little bit confused about things. I guess they deleted the comment now, actually. Yeah, this actually had about 5 or 6 comments. The comments have been deleted. Yeah, well, I guess let me make sure that was the right post that had the comment. Yeah, that comment got deleted. I got screenshots of it, of course. I take screenshots of everything. Because there was one of our listeners saying that, hey, you don't know what this is. And then I told them to prove it. They did not prove it. And then they said, I thought we were going to do this. And then, of course, they deleted it. Because I even went back on that comment and said, hey, look, even they just said, oh, no. This was the wrong one. It was the one before that. So let me not get that wrong. It was the one before that. Here it is. There's the 12 comments right there. So yes. Now the commissioner says, now they didn't have anything. They didn't apologize. They didn't say this. This is how it is with black people. It's like, get in your place, nigga. And then no apology. No, nothing done. Even other black people will talk down because somebody told them to say it. Now they're going to confirm that this man was never a was not anti-Semitic, as we know already. But no, the person that even said it, yeah, he has been saying anti-Semitic stuff. That person won't even come back and say, you know what, I was wrong. Because when I'm wrong, I say it. You guys have known when I said some things wrong before, I came back and I was like, yeah, that was incorrect. How come you can't do it? How come you can't do it? Unless, are you saying the commissioner is wrong and the other people are wrong now? Because they were right before somehow. They were calling him anti-Semitic, and now they're saying he's not. So is only when they say something negative on a black person, is that the only thing that sticks? Oh, this guy's a suspected killer, a suspected rapist. Oh no, we found out he's not. He's not, guys. The only thing that sticks, OJ, the only thing that sticks is that he did it, not that they had proved him wrong. See, that's the only thing that sticks with black people. Let's read this comment. Edub said that, well, as a fan for 20 plus years of F1, the technology is just as much as the focus as the drivers, because most of the tech features in today's car is a trickle effect directly from F1. Now, I can agree with that. Now, they just don't focus only on that, right? They don't focus only on that, unless I'm wrong. Because I seen a couple of F1. My friend told me about it, so I decided to check it out with F1. So that was that. But correct me if I'm wrong. Is it pretty much most of the focus? Because in track and field, it seems like the focus kind of starts to be on, like, hey, here's the technology. Because they've been given a heavy technology to shoot stuff. I mean, over the last 2-3 years, they like shoes. I'm like, shoes, track. Okay, that's the narrative here. Great. All right, what about the athletes? Where are we going with that? Okay, we heard it enough. Let's give a half and half. Can we get that? Can we get half and half? Right? Can we get half and half with that? Now, of course, remember, Jews are not just white. They're black Jews. Nobody's talking about the black Jews, because this is the narrative that goes by. It's always a distract. The only people that have a real plight are black people. And if we're talking about the United States, the only people have it are the black Americans coming from the descendants of slaves. They're the only people that have a real plight that's never gotten healed from that. Every other group has come afterward. Every other group has been integrated. The Irish got hazed a little bit, and then they were like, okay, you're white now. The Italians hazed a little bit, now you're white. Because, you know, white is always changing. There's no real concrete definition of what white is. You know, the Latinos and Hispanic, they used to be white, and then they said, you're not white, and if they need to, they'll bring them back into the fold. You guys may not know that history. That's just knowing the history. Now, let's get back to here real quick. Coming back to the Dallas Cowboys owner. Now, I noticed this. I got the screenshots. If this needs to be as a lawsuit or something that pinned, we know that if that happens, they're going to try to get dirt. Who knows? My channel might be deleted. Now, here's one thing. I've been collecting this information, and I'm going to record this on a live stream as well. Do you guys know that I have scheduled posts right here? When I schedule a post, this is going to be on YouTube, and it's about to be a sports thing. But I want you guys to know this so that you guys know. Now, the black creators, if there's racism that exists, which we all know that to be true, but let's use a logic statement. If racism is rampant and there's a system of racism, right, and we see this throughout society, and the whole system is that way. Hold on just a second. My rabbit is here doing some goofy stuff. You will not chew on my cord. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So if racism is there, and we see it in sports, we see it in track and field, right? Now, if we see that here, wouldn't it be logical that racists are also in these technology companies? So whether it's an individual person or the algorithm, which if the algorithm is created by some racist, we can't suspect it white supremacists and anti-black people. It kind of is weird that black people, as even Facebook, or now known as Meta, has determined that we set the trends. First is the black Americans, and then I think secondarily would be the Nigerian, I think it's the Nigerian population. First is black Americans that control most of the media creation and the trends. We create the trends, but we don't get it. Remember do-rags? Now, white people tried to hijack that and call it something else and say, wow, it's this new invention. Our food, they say it's just a new invention. Country music, and now they're trying to do hip hop and recreate that and say everybody else created. So here's the thing. When I schedule a post and it's anything that uses the word white supremacy in the post, it will delete it. It won't delete it immediately. It'll wait like 2 or 3, 5 minutes or some time, and then it'll be deleted. I refresh it, and it's scheduled for like whatever. Because I scheduled posts ahead of time. I was trying to schedule like 10 or whatever posts so that these posts could be there. Now, these other ones, I'm not going to show what those are because I'm debating on whether I bring them up or not. I'll get straight here. Hold on just a second. I'm going to read your comment in just a second. Now, on these other ones, they will allow them because one is talking about somebody that did a fake positive test and it affected so many tens of thousands of black people with fake positive drug tests. Now that it allowed that there because I'm not saying anything about white supremacy, right? I just say racism. I use the word racism, and they keep trying to say anybody can be racist. At what point are black people holding over? Okay, tech companies. So that means they limit us. And here's this. I called out the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, City of Dallas right here, and tagged the Dallas Cowboys. Guess what happened to this post? And you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. This got shadow banned. I have a separate profile that I always check as a backup for this. As you guys know, I have these other 2 channels. Now, I have a separate profile that I check on my own channel. It always, always, always suggests all of my videos and every single one of my posts to that channel. I'm not even subscribed to my own channel, my backup one. This is always to just see if it's shadow banned or not. It did not show this. And on the screenshot, did you know that my latest post showed the one on Elon Musk? Now, it'll allow us to complain about racism. This is what I want you guys to say, and I want you guys to spread this out. You are hearing this here, whether the video gets taken down or not. I want you to have this conversation with friends and family and manually put it out because word of mouth is not going to be stopped. But they can limit our posts because a Joe Rogan racist guy right there, or a suspected white supremacist, I'll put it that way. He's able to say racist things, and he's not limited, and he's gotten millions and millions of people. But someone that doesn't do that, unless you are a bootlicking black person or somebody that tries to stay away from those topics, then you are limited. Right? You are limited. So I call out Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, for being on the wrong side of history, and this post got shadow banned. It did not show this post out there. Now, you guys could tell me as subscribers if you saw this post or not, but I know that when I saw the latest post, like if you type in Head and Shoulders ATR and you scroll down and down, don't click my channel, and just scroll down and down and down, it'll say latest posts from my channel, and then it'll say this is the latest post. This isn't the latest post. Now, why do I think that this is a big deal, especially when it comes to sports? This is still a sports related topic right here, guys. Even though it's involving, because everything, white supremacy talks about, controls every single facet of life. Every single facet of life. Whether you think so or not, and it includes sex. You try to do that with somebody else outside of a designated group, then you get handled, right? Now, here's the thing. I talk about, because Kyrie Irving, because he didn't say anything, all he did was share something, they said he needs to pay up. All right, pay up. Every time it's with black people, big nigga, pay us our money. That's what they do every single time. It's fines, it's you're fired, you lose money. It's always fine. Okay, great. Nike dropped you. How much money was that? How much money did he lose with there? Okay, we don't need you to sell the team and get out, because what you do, sell it to another white person or something like that, and you're still getting money out of it. You're selling the team. Did you sell the team and then give money to us? How is that helping me? How does that help any black people that you have clearly been going against? Because we haven't had any black head coaches there. Oh, so they're going with that narrative. No black head coaches. What, are they going to put a hand-picked Negro and put them right there? Cherry pick some black person? This is the same thing we see at other sports, world athletics. We don't see any black people really on the executive boards at all. And the one black person that they did put was involved with some financial, financial smuggling of money? I'm like, did you select that guy for that, or was that a happen to be? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Did you select him for some things, and he had a questionable background, or was he some other thing? I'm just asking questions. I'm not making an accusation there, but what I do observe is that there aren't really black people. Where are the black people from the United States? And that's a huge battleground area, right? You're trying to grow the sport in the U.S., right? So why aren't there executives from the United States and more regularly? Because there are a bunch of black people there. Like the sport is essentially a lot of black people, especially in sprints and distance running. So why aren't we seeing more black people allowed to rotate up there? Okay, why aren't we able to do that? So getting back, let me stick on this point real quick. Getting back to Dallas Cowboys and these technology companies. These technology companies owe us tens of billions of dollars because a Joe Rogan can be promoted up, which means that he gets sponsorships that want to come after him because he has a larger audience. He's not limited and inhibited. There are so many things that happen to this channel, as well as other black channels, that we may as well just do some class action lawsuit or something, and they need to pay up. That's called reparations. If you get hit by a driver and they're at fault, they pay you. That's reparations. So we need this. I don't care if you are a content creator from Jamaica or anything. You are being held back if you aren't falling in that. And even if you are falling in line with some of their anti-black, you could be an anti-black black person. You still got to work harder than the other one. Release the algorithm to the public, YouTube. Release the algorithm, Facebook. Release the algorithm, Twitter. We need this to the public. There's too many public people, because this is a public square, is it not? They say private company only when it benefits them, because the right always complains that they are being held back. What about our athletes and everything? So that's what I got to say about that. But when it comes down to these sports teams, if you guys see this, the first thing that comes here, I don't want no freaking apology. I can't tell if you're serious. If you guys see something that happens in Jamaica, if it's something with Nike, if it's something with Puma, if it's something with any of these companies, and they're disrespecting you, you start demanding money gets paid out. They better be paying them out to black organizations there because they're taking money from us. Okay, you make money from us, pay us back that, because you really, if a leaked email comes out, that's the move right now. Pay us the money. Every time we do something, Whoopi Goldberg, why did she get suspended by saying something that was factually correct, but that was correct within their means? Why did she get suspended and her money get held back from that? But anytime these other people say something, it's get washed over. This needs to be a tsunami effect. I want y'all to make sure that this is a tsunami effect, because it can't be just one person. Obviously, they got the power, so they're going to be saying it. So let's get back to E-Dub. He says, sticking to track. I think marketing will always be a deciding factor on success or not. Fans need a storyline in order to truly understand what's going on. The purists will focus on the details. F1's success with the last couple of years was due to successful marketing, which they really didn't have here in the States. Add to that, you have a great storyline with Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, matter of fact, Lewis Hamilton, all the racism that this dude is going with. I mean, all of that. This man needs to be paid up the yang. And matter of fact, because of that, they need to be paying out other black organizations. They need to meet with the Louis Farrakhan. They need to meet with black leaders that actually represent black issues, not these hand-picked puppets, politicians. And they need to be paying out. Lewis Hamilton has been facing some heinous stuff over in the sport. He's been facing heinous things in that sport. It's like, okay, cool. All right. We need you to start paying. Is it 10 million a year? Is it 20 million a year? Is it 50 million a year that you pay out to these black organizations to start repairing the damage that you're doing against us? You could keep your position. You could stay there, just like what Jason Black was saying yesterday. You could stay in your position, but you need to start paying up that money. Lewis Hamilton has really been building up that sport. This is what they do. Fox News did the same thing, or Fox did the same thing. They built up with black family-oriented programming. This is the storyline, y'all. This is what they do. Black people face the arrows, and we take that, just like the cowboys that were black, that were really doing most of the work in the United States. Black people take most of the arrows in these sports. We build a sport on our back, and guess who gets the money? And then they just say, all right, let's move these niggas out the way, and we take the money. Lewis Hamilton is building up F1 and doing all of this stuff because it was really just a smaller sport. It's getting bigger and bigger with him, like just like an MJ, just like a Magic Johnson, just like a Michael Jordan, and all of that. Build up the sport where it's got that, and then they say move them out the way, and we make the money. That's the plan. That's the plan all the time. Now, in sports, it's a little bit harder to move black people out the way, but you can see that in every other form of things. Whether it's music, now they're trying to rip up hip hop from black Americans. Edub said he's actually very vocal about equality, maybe more than I would be. Like, LOL. Yeah, because you can't do it. The thing is, you can't be scared for a paycheck. You can't be scared for a paycheck. That's really cowardice. I really don't like that Kyrie Irving keeps apologizing for doing nothing wrong. That's cowardice. I can't stand with him with that. I can't stand with him and back him up after I backed him up, and I'm like, okay, now he goes out here. I was gonna do a post on it, and then I was like, nah, I'm gonna just say it here. He's apologizing, and he keeps apologizing. Now that's when they don't know when to stop. Once you give them something, they smell blood like sharks, and then they keep coming after you, and keep coming after you, and keep coming after you. Donald Trump said it himself. He was like, don't apologize. Don't ever apologize. Okay, great. Donald Trump ain't got to apologize. Pay us the money. I don't need an apology. I need the money. Run the check. So Lewis Hamilton, yeah, I see that he does talk about those things. Muhammad Ali did those things. We need people out here that are in these positions. Most of these athletes and sportscasters and stuff, they're really just like they dance for butter biscuits. They dance for butter biscuits. Shaq, I really don't have too much respect for him for what he's doing. Hey, he's out here like he's already got millions and millions. What's the worst they can do? What? They kick him off of the program and they say you're fired. Okay, great. Do a lawsuit because I was unjustly fired because I wouldn't say this one thing here. Do a lawsuit there. And then if the rest of you guys do it, do a lawsuit against these companies. You already got tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Why don't y'all just start actually standing up for have a backbone? But no, they say, hey, my paycheck, I still want the money. Since when does a person's pride and their own people come secondary to the money they already got? Money they already got. They're already up there. I can't even make an excuse and say, well, you know, they only got tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. No, these guys got tens of millions. Tens of millions of dollars. They already got the bag. And I still wouldn't look past them because of that. So yeah, it's good for him to be vocal. He needs to stay vocal. You got to keep the boot on their necks. Because the only way that change happens is if we do that. So that's what I got to talk about today with sports and everything, unless y'all got another topic to talk about. But the Dallas Cowboys, they need to be paying up. I need more people to be signal boosting this. You guys got to talk about that because they surely did, with this algorithm, hide this post right here. Now, I understand I haven't really been posting up. Some of these are going to have less. It's not during the end track season. I'm not talking about that. This is a sports channel. Track and field just happened to blow up. I keep emphasizing this. Track and field happened to blow up on this channel, but I'm not a track and field channel. I am just really not. It happens to be this might be the core audience, and maybe the core audience maybe come from the Caribbean, more specifically Jamaica, and the descendants all over the planet. But I am not a track and field channel. I'm not just a Jamaican-oriented channel. I am a sports channel. So I'm going to talk about those things. And I talk about black empowerment because guess what? At every turn, these other companies will talk about LBGT, talk about other issues that they got. They talk about every other issue. They have no problem in pushing out their agenda. So there is no point of me being apologizing for my skin. There's no point in me apologizing for that and not bringing it up because that's the elephant in the room. They don't want you to bring it up because when you point it out, then actually things have to change. When you point out that Elon Musk is now a suspected white supremacist showing his true colors now, I mean, what else is there to say? What else is there to say? We've been saying this already. I've been saying it about this guy. And on my cryptocurrency uh, group, I actually have for my affiliate marketers, one of the prizes would be getting them a Tesla. It was a Tesla Model X or S. And we know some things that happen there. All of these companies have those, or most of these companies have that, right? But when you start to say it like directly there, at that point, I can't even rock with you. I can't rock with you, right? See, I can't even rock with you like that, so I had to drop them. It would be no different than what they did to Kanye. I had to drop them. I said, you know what? We no longer support Tesla or any of the things that Elon Musk uh, come out there. Oh no, I'm not surprised at all. By the way, I'm not surprised at all because we've been talking about. I've been talking about before. But like I said, it's one thing when you see some things there, and it's another thing now he's vocal about it. Guess what? Just like they're vocal about it, that then inspires other people to start taking action. That inspires other people to get bolder and bolder. See, they're at a war against black people. One of the first things he did at Twitter. I want y'all to know this. One of the first things he did at Twitter. This is within his first month of being there, and he's already told you who his opponent is. It's black people. This is like their routine. They come in and they crap on black people. So what do I look like now going out and saying, hey, I support this thing just because he makes a car that was good? There are other car companies, right? I mean, if there's something that I really just can't avoid, I can avoid his internet. I can avoid the car companies whenever possible, right? I don't have to support this. There are other shoe companies out there that are black owned. We got those, and I just go to those then. If Adidas is going to do something kind of janky style and crazy, we can go over to those companies. If Nike's going to do something crazy, we can go to those. I don't have to go to them. As far as I can tell, Puma hasn't done anything, so I'll just start. I mean, I wasn't rocking with Puma before. Maybe I could go to Puma then. But I kind of got that. Kareem said, LOL, Jamaican oriented channel, not really, but we love how you talk about track and field. Question mark. Yeah, I understand that. I do understand that. That's why I say it happens to have gotten a track and field vibe. Just because, I understand why. Because my first video was literally, was it Shelly Ann Fraser Price? Was that one she ran that 10? It was like, was that when she broke 10.7 for the first time? Or I think it was when she ran it, when she broke the 10.7 for the first time. And I was waiting. That happened to be the first video, but that wasn't necessarily going to be the first topic. But I appreciate all the subscribers here. I really do, because it's very hard for us to build up the things. And YouTube, what they do is they said they don't block a channel. They just would, hide from being suggested. I know my channel doesn't get suggested like that plenty of times. It just really depends. It just doesn't get suggested. I have other people that are there, whether they're subscribed or they're not subscribed, and I can see whether my channel gets suggested. It doesn't really get suggested, but they suggest other things. So it's because of some of the things I talk about. So if I get 10,000, 100,000 subscribers, I doubt I could get to 1 million with the topics that I talk about. But if I do get to that, that means I really should have got way more than that. Every subscriber I get, I'm working for. I'm working like 2, 3, 4 times. I don't know how many times harder I got to work for every subscriber that I get on this channel. So anyway, when it comes to track and field, we will be talking about some things. I guess I'll talk about it now because I'll make a short on this, I think. With they said I never liked him because what he and Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp. I don't study Elon. Don't care for Tesla. Twitter was crazy anyways. Never supported him before and won't now. Yeah, that makes sense. When it comes down here, Brianna Williams. Let's get on that. So I think, let me scroll down to the post I had that I posted up. Man, I think I'm famous for saying I'm about to post a video and then I don't. Man, in other areas of my life, I actually, when I say something, I mean, I just do it in this area, and I can understand if people are a little skeptical about me posting up on things or whatnot here. But in other areas of my life, I'm really hardcore, and people that are around me know that I'm very, very serious. How I talk on here is how I talk in real life. When I met that billionaire, and then the other guy that was near billionaire, I'm just like, okay, cool. You ain't nothing special. If you gonna disrespect somebody, disrespect don't know no dollar sign, not at all. You're not about to disrespect me. You can go ahead and talk this. I don't care who you are. So that's just kind of how it is. But Brianna Williams, so her changing coaches, I think this is a dangerous step. If she gets some more speed endurance, kind of like what Shelly Ann Fraser Price, if she gets some more speed endurance up in her legs, and she can handle the last end of her race. Sometimes she's kind of inconsistent, by the way, too, with her starting. Because I used to say that she's a good starter, but some of her starts in her races, they just go from very, very excellent to just okay. She hasn't gotten that down pat yet. So if she can get that and she can find the pattern where she get that start that's like real consistent, like Shelly Ann Fraser Price having a misfire, that happens. No, nothing in life is 100%. Like all we deal with are probabilities. So she's gonna have something here and there that isn't gonna be there. But when it comes down to Brianna Williams, like if Shelly Ann Fraser Price get one bad start, she's probably had 10 or 11 or even 20 great starts, right? But with Brianna Williams, it's like, okay, she might have 2 good starts, then she might have 1, then she has 3 good starts, then she got 4 bad ones. It just isn't consistent. And when I say good starts, I'm comparing this with the field that she's running against. That's the only thing I can really do when it comes down there. She has great form, yeah, but when it comes out to getting out those blocks and beating people to that first 10, 20, 30 meters, and I'm like, doesn't seem too consistent right there. Because I think the only person, in my opinion, from what she's done, the only person that should really be beating her, or she could be neck and neck with, and she could beat sometimes, would be Shelly Ann Fraser Price. Taluk sometimes gets a good start, in all honesty. Who else? I really can't see her. And if she's losing against Sharika Jackson, I'll really be like, man, that's a red flag. Like, that's a red flag. If she loses a start against Sharika Jackson, I'm just like, yo, what happened there? Like, you can't be losing. And then Kambunji has some good starts too. I gotta give her that. I gotta give her that credit. They're not as consistent, but yeah, Edub, I agree with you. That 400 stamina, if she can bring that down to that 100, she gonna be a force to be reckoned with, and it's gonna be a lot harder to qualify out of that Jamaican championships. It's already kind of close now. Imagine that Shelly Ann Fraser Price had to run. Imagine that Shelly Ann Fraser Price had to run at this one. It still would have been the top 3. It would have been the same, I think. Or did what's her name? Kimba Nelson. Did Kimba Nelson get 3rd or 2nd? I'm forgetting that right now. But in any case, or Kimba Nelson got 4th. No, wait a minute, because Shelly Ann Fraser Price didn't run. Can y'all remind me what place Nelson got? But in any case, it's getting real hard to qualify. They need to be on their A game, and it might come a point where Shelly Ann does not make it out the championships. Just imagine Shelly Ann not making it out. That'll be like when she beat what's her name back in 2008. It's like that level. But Shelly Ann is getting a little older. If that misfire happens, notice she's racing a little bit less. Or she raced a little bit less early. And then she just started 9-6, 9-6, 9-6, 9-6. Then at 9-7 because she was a little hurt. Then she came back 9-6. I'm like, dang, she over here magnetically attached. This is like when Asafa Powell was on top of his game, except he just couldn't win. But this is like when Asafa Powell was on his game, and he just, all right, sub 10, sub 10, sub 10, and it's just knocking it out, blowing people out of the water in his races. That's what I was thinking of. I'm like, dang, Shelly Ann is like that. That is where Brianna Williams can get. If she gets to that point where she got that speed endurance, she gonna be killing them. And you know what? I've been proven correct. There were people that called me stupid. There were other YouTubers. I'm not going to call their names out because that just gives them shine. There were other people in my life that were calling me like, yo, that doesn't make any sense. I said that the 100 actually does need more speed endurance than what it gives credit for. And it is confirmed with Shelly Ann Fraser Price. She increased her speed endurance, which makes her run better and more consistent, forget just better, in her 200. She's now more consistent in her 200-meter dash. Where did that come from? She got better speed endurance. She's doing better at the tail end of her race too. And she's now faster and more consistent in her 100. And then it carries over to her 200. But let's just say she never did run that. She's got better speed endurance. I told people, I said, can you hold your breath in the entire 100-meter dash and run your best speed? Is it possible for you to hold your breath, not breathe at all? If you plugged it up and just ran. If you need oxygen, you're going to need some of your other energy systems. Oxygen is going to allow you to get the power. Whether people say it's aerobic, maybe some of the aerobic does apply to the 100-meter dash too. It doesn't apply in the way that people think, like, okay, you go run a mile and then it's going to help you and that energy system's going to kick in. No, you got better aerobic capacity in some way, but it just lasts a very short amount of time that the energy system doesn't do. But the other size effect is, what if you had more ability to breathe in your lungs, then you breathe out that air, it allows you to strike more power onto the ground. I said this, I didn't even have to go into a lab to prove this speed endurance aspect. It has already proven itself out. We got a test subject right here. It's Shelly Ann Fraser Price and others. And others. They say it's possible, especially now that the young guns like the twins are now in the mix. Kareem said, who are you excited to see break records next season? I think Sharika, Sydney will have an amazing season. Oh, let me talk about Sydney McLaughlin real quick before I answer your question. Did y'all notice that Sydney McLaughlin, and this is not her specifically, but this is what I see with within sports in general. Did you know that back when she was breaking world records and she was crediting her coaches? This is something that I'm particularly irritated about, when athletes be like, give it up to God and all of this. Okay, great. Now, who's your coaches? Who's your team that help you, your family and everything like that? But now they just say, God this, God that, God that. The previous season, she was not saying that. She was like, yeah, it was my coaches. I could understand that you say, you bring up God and say, hey, here's the glory to God and everything. Yeah. Now, where about your coaches? Because at the end of the day, if it was God's plan, because I don't think she said it's in God's plan. She might have said it. It's other athletes. I just bring her up because it's a stark, because other athletes have said it, I think, from the beginning. But there are several athletes, including the distance runners, that were, when they were first starting, they were like, yeah, I put in the hard work. I did this. My coaches, they were supportive, my family. And then they start getting up there and then they be like, God this, and it was God's plan and all of this. And I'm like, wait a minute. What? So it wasn't God's plan when you weren't the number one athlete and you weren't winning. But now it's God's plan now that you won. It's God's plan now that you win, but wouldn't it be God's plan that you lose? What if you never started winning? What if you never got to the elite area? What about all the athletes out there? Wasn't it God's plan that they lose and that they never are destined to ever make it to the elite level, never make it to semi-pro? If we have that in track and field, I don't think we really do. It's just kind of like all of them are semi-pros, but pros at the same time. But they never make it to qualify for a Diamond League race. They never make it to even qualify for one of the Continental Tour Gold races. They're not good enough to do that. That's God's plan too, isn't it? See, I think we need to start getting back to being in the logical standpoint. The logical standpoint. Where God gave us our free will to do what we're going to do. And that we have that ability to work hard or to be lazy or to do right or wrong. So I just want to bring that up. And it's not against Sydney McLaughlin. I know somebody going to take a sound bite out of that probably. But it's really about all the athletes doing it. Because I remember I listened to a bunch of her interviews back to back to back. I was going to do a whole video on her about 2 months ago. And then I noticed it. And I was like, I knew she was a little different, younger. And now she seems like everything's like calm and expected. It went from, yeah, I'm just so appreciative of being here and everything. And now it's like, yeah, kind of just expected this. Yeah, God, leave it up to God. Yeah, kind of expected it. And I understand that's the persona now. Kind of like Sha'Carri Richardson before she started acting out, because y'all know she started acting out different. So when they start getting things, they start some of the athletes change it up. So that's part of the image, the brand now. I gotta say that's a brand image. You said she does say her coach. Where are you getting that from? I'm talking about her main interviews. Like when you go and you put the mic right after she broke the world record, she didn't really say that. Now there's probably here and there because that just makes sense. You wouldn't just say that all the time. I'm talking about the majority and everything like that. Now I understand they're probably just saying, "Hey, look, when you put a mic in front of me, let me talk about God and get people to praise God and become a believer." I do understand that aspect. I think that's what it probably is, but it kind of is a little irritating when they just like, "Hey, here's that." Be like, okay, normally, and that seems to be an American thing. Somebody pointed out, but it's not an American thing. It's mainly that. Now, they said she does credit her coach. He said, "Ha, so if you lose, thank God for that too." I like that. Yeah, you would. You thank God for both. You do thank God for the ability for waking you up in the morning, because that would be a blessing, right? But then at the same time, it makes sense that if you lost or won, that is God's doing. Because if it's God's plan that you won, it's also God's plan that you don't win ever. Like you don't win ever. You get last place. That was God's plan. Like it just makes sense. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just using too much logic here. But who am I excited to see break records? Let me see if Karsten breaks another world record. Let's see if he could recover from the injury and then come back and break another world record in there. That would be crazy. Sharika, I think she's been on world record watch for a while. I've been saying that for a while. I think I might have been one of the first big channels, especially the non-Jamaican. Because if it's a Jamaican-based channel, I'm gonna just say they always saying that the world record is gonna be hit. I mean, it's a bias thing. It's just like the world record is coming down. You know what? Matter of fact, they running 10-3. I be hearing people saying 10-3. I'm like, come on now. All right, where's the 10-3 coming from? That's a huge leap. I wouldn't even logically be able to see it. Yeah, 10-3. Is it possible? Sure. Is it probable? Unlikely. It's just like, okay, we just went from these athletes running 10-6s and one running 10-5, and some of them running 10-7. Like, who's running the 10-3? Shelly Ann Fraser Price. So she's going to go from a 10-6 flat to a 10-3 something. That's a huge drop. And you don't even see that in track and field like that. That would be a huge drop. That would be like when she ran, I think, an 11-2, and then she ran like a 10-8 something the next season, or 11-1, and then went down like that. You don't see those huge drops at the fastest of the fast levels like that. Like that. But yeah, Sharika Jackson, I think she's going to take down that world record. I think it could be this season. This season that's started now, because technically it's the indoor season. But I think it could be this next outdoor season or the one right after. I got to say, it just seems so unlikely that Sharika Jackson. Now, I will say this too. Elaine Thompson-Herah could take down that world record as well. Yeah, she might be a little bit inconsistent when it comes to the seasons in between. It could be her dealing with injuries. It could be anything, right? But I think Elaine Thompson-Herah should not be doubted whether it's taking down the 100 or the 200-meter world record. I don't care what anybody says right here. She's got so much room in front of her. Obviously, people's bodies treat them differently. But Elaine Thompson-Herah, Sharika Jackson for the ones that I would say 100 or 200 world record. I think Sharika Jackson, I'm going to double down on this one too. Sharika Jackson has the ability to take down that 100-meter world record too. I know it sounds really funny, but she has that ability. When you get athletes that can come down and run as fast as she did, and you look at other athletes that have come down. Melaine Walker, no, she didn't really come down and do as well in the 100 hurdles. Never mind. Hold on. Who am I thinking of on the women's side? Who did that? Who did that and really transitioned very well? I know there's a lot of 400 to 100 meter athletes, or 4 to 2, that can do that more well, and especially on the men's side. I'm losing it on the women's side because I know there was at least one other athlete other than Flojo that could really just be like, all right, I'm good in the 400 and I'm gonna come and kill in the 1 and the 2. I know there's other athletes that can do that, but I can't think of them offhand. Do you guys know a few athletes like that? They said Sharika is not ready for world record. Olympics will be the year. 10-3 will be here in 10 to 15 years when the super designer babies, gene editing growing up. It will be a Chinese runner since they are the ones doing it the most. You know what? I did say that China is gonna potentially dominate track and field, but yeah, when it comes down to certain things, maybe the genes are just what it is, and I think that's what we gotta admit. I think we gotta admit those things. But I can see China dominating, not necessarily because they're winning all the things, but because they got the sheer number of athletes that are going there. But designer babies, yeah, I think I did do a video on that. I think I'll do another video on the designer baby thing. I did talk about that before when it came down to performance enhancing drugs. Oh, and last thing on that, I think the last thing I'm going to talk about, one of the scheduled posts I have actually, one of the scheduled posts that I have up here is talking about brown rice and how that if you eat enough brown rice, it gives you the same boosted effect that anabolic steroids give you. Did you know that? Stu Pease, thank you. You said welcome back. They said I'm looking forward to seeing TT Terry versus Abby Steiner. That's the matchup. Interesting. What makes you say TT Terry and Abby Steiner? Because they don't seem too similar of a speed when it comes down to it. Or you just talk about the 1 and 2 Americans as far as leading the way there. I guess in the 100 they would be a lot closer. But yeah, did you know that if you get enough brown rice, that it would give you the same effect? But it's so many cups of brown rice. I think it's over 120 or something like that cups of brown rice. And I'm like, how did they get 120 cups of brown rice into a person? And I'm like, okay, how did they do this? So you basically would take all of it and I guess you powder it up, and then I'm like, man, you got to dry yourself out, and then you got to get water. And remember, rice expands underwater. So I'm just like, I don't know how they did this study, but I don't know if that's legal or illegal. And I questioned whether to put that up on my channel because I'm like, I don't want it to seem like, because I did it like, hey, did you guys know that if you do this and then it'll sound like I'm suggesting it? Because you know what they did with Kyrie Irving. He just shared a post, didn't say anything. So I was like, I don't want to seem like I'm suggesting steroids or anything. Because, you know, the quacks out there will always take your words incorrectly. But there was something interesting that I did find out through the studies about in vegan. So I look at a lot of studies all the time, and that was one of them, that if you take brown rice, you powder that stuff up, it can actually give you the same effects. Now, that doesn't seem like that's banned. See, that doesn't seem like it's banned. So if I see it, I wonder what other athletes are looking at this, or coaches and coaching staff. But if they didn't see it before, they probably gonna see it here because they watch my videos, these sporting bodies. So they said Terry will make a big step this year in her speed. Is what I've noticed. No other American will compete with Abby. Gabby might be able to compete. Don't forget about Gabby Thomas. She might recover from that injury that she got. Man, she's so injury prone, I swear. Man, she's so injury prone. But Gabby Thomas, you don't think she's going to be able to still lead the way? Remember what she was running last year, and she was undertrained, still dealing with an injury. And she still was able to put up a somewhat decent effort. She just couldn't make it through the rounds. If it was like one-off races, she probably could have still done something okay, but it was the rounds that kind of killed her because she didn't have the endurance, because there's specific training they have to do. So she tried to take off a few weeks leading up to it, and then boom, it backfired against her. So I think Thomas is going to be able to do it. You don't think so? Yeah, like I said, injury prone, but if she stays healthy, and it's possible that she stays healthy, she was healthy enough during the Olympics, So it's possible that she can remain healthy. But it's kind of like relying on a Lane Thompson hero on a non-Olympic year. Uh, as you can see, she really still she's gotten a medal this time around, which is good, but she still doesn't perform up to par. So I think that nobody could really argue against that at this point. You can't say, "Oh, you a hater, a Lane Thompson hero." She just can't do it on a non-Olympic year. Not yet. Not yet. She hasn't been able to um, pull through, and she's injury prone as well. So yeah, I definitely can agree with you on that one. But yeah, I can see TT Terry making a big drop. What about dang? What is one of our youth athletes? Let me bring this up real quick. Uh, Let me go to World Athletics website because I can't remember it offhand. Let's go here to the stats. God darn it. What was it? Oh yeah, y'all looking forward to Budapest? I don't know how I feel about it right now. I don't know how I feel about Budapest 2023. I'm just kind of like for right now. Last season was okay. You don't think Hobbs can compete? That's not who I was thinking of. I think it was Tamari Davis. You think Tamari Davis could do something? I mean, she was running pretty quick now. Tamari had that one race where she just went that 1083. That's the athlete I was thinking of. Tamari Davis really did kind of do something now. Terry has the full package to go up against Abby. That's assuming that Abby is the one to beat. What makes you so sure that Abby, which is also an injury-prone athlete, would be leading the way? Don't forget that Abby is also an injury-prone athlete. So she might not even stand up to it. Let's not forget that. But yeah, here's that. What about Tamari Davis? She's only 19. She's only 19. She might be doing something here for the U.S., but I suspect based on last year, this might just be like, okay, last year she did something, and then this next year she isn't, because that's how drops happen. You know, you're still growing. Puberty might happen a little bit earlier for women, but still, you're still growing through your early 20s and everything. So there could be some growing pains and the injury that happens here or there. So I'm just putting her up for a watch. Tamari Davis ran at 1063. Let's look at her results. She's been in 11s the whole season, but even with the plus 4.2 tailwind, and then she's going down 10-9, 10-9, 10-7, illegal win, 10-87, 10-83. So there you go. So she's been consistent under 11. She's been consistent under 11. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legal, 6. She's been there 6 legal times this last year. And she's solidly in the 10-9 low, 10-8 high. So she's solidly there. She's very consistent there. So I can see her putting in some work in that 100. I don't know. Y'all. Just something to consider. Here. Didn't see a lot from Davis. Abby ran 60 races last year. She was bound to get injured. Maybe so. We'll leave it at that for right now. So this is just some track talk. I think I'll have another one. They say I like Tamari, but I haven't seen her competing as much, which may be a good thing for her. Yeah, the longevity is probably gonna be there. You know, some athletes, some coaches, some staff members, they're looking for the longevity of the athletes, and they're able to see that early. I mean, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price got longevity. Justin Gatlin had longevity. Safa Powell, even though he messed up mentally, he had longevity. So some athletes are able to do that. Yeah, that's that. So I'll leave it here, guys. Thank y'all for coming out today. Like I said, as always, you've been watching Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. We are going to catch you on the next video. I might do a live stream this afternoon, or I might do something on this weekend. I'm going to be here a little bit more often. But like I said, I've been taking care of business on the back end. I'll let you guys know this. Yeah, sure, I could have been posting up on this channel. It would have gotten me a few $1,000s a month or something like that, just to say it from the background. Maybe one. It'd get me somewhere between $400, depending on what I post and how frequently, actually, to maybe 2,500 a month. Still in the year, the months I haven't been posting. To me, that's not really too much. Not too much at all. Sure, that could cover some of the bills. The place I was living at was $3,400. Really 3,000 average per month. So that still wouldn't have covered even just the rent of where I was staying. So, and that's obviously you got to take taxes out of the YouTube earnings. So for me, I'm looking at it like this. There's the audience here. I know it kind of hurts the brand a little bit because you want to stay with the momentum when you're new. I shouldn't have stopped posting the first year. It really hurt the growth of the channel. It literally just stopped it. The algorithm just went. But to me, and this is my closing monologue here, I'm looking at some other things. I looked at it like this, and I will say this because it doesn't really matter if other people see this or not. But I look at the budget. USATF is what? $40 million budget. And I'm looking at it like this. How much money do I need to make sure I bring in that I could fully buy USATF? And I'm comfortable with, if I lost that money, I would not like that I lost the money, but I could be comfortable that if I lost the money, I'm still good. So I started making decisions in the back end where I'm doing other things, because I got other things in life that I do. I deal with cryptocurrencies. Some of y'all followed the Let's Improve Africa channel that's on Telegram. We're gonna rename that actually to something else. I think that's a little bit too direct of a name, and then some people are like, "Oh, it sounds like you're talking at me to improve." It's just like, and whatever. So I'm looking at things like this. If I were to do this, if athletes are able to survive with $40 million budget with USATF, obviously that means they're going to Europe, which means it's a little bit higher. Then I could be able to create a league at the former budget, which was 20. It was 20 million. I should be able to create a league at 20 to 40, 20 to 60 million a year. That means I'm funding part of the budget and other companies are coming in too. So I'm really, really heavily looking at doing that. If I could do it in the next 2 or 3 years and try to get that set up, there's already track and field stadiums that are already across the country. Because at first I was like, okay, I'll construct my own. That makes things take longer. Obviously, that means we need to make the connections on the back end, which I have not yet started to make, which that might make it take even longer. So I'm trying to make decisions that would that will allow us to grow a sport or to develop something. So that's what I'm focusing on the back end. If I do this with track and field, because like I said, this channel isn't track and field based, because I'm going to talk about other sports, but it seems like it's majority track and field because of that. So if you guys have any suggestions on there or connections, or you want to voluntarily try to get some of the information together. Wait a minute. I thought this was going to be my closing. Let's look at this together. USATF just put up 2021. Hold on. Let's look at this together. Let's see what their numbers are. This is the 2021 tax statements. Okay. All right. They said in 2018, USATF properly reported on the Form 990 section those deferred deemed earned by a CEO in 2018 but not payable until subsequent years. This amount was reported as then current expense on that 2018 tax returns. Audited, blah, blah. The CEO compensation reported on the 2021 Form 990 has been previously shown on the 2018 form. They both refer to the same 2018 deferred compensation. All right. Y'all ready for this one? Let's look at this now. Let's look at this. Let's zoom it in just a little bit. Let's look at what their budget is. This is public information on USATFs. This is not me taking anything. They are a nonprofit. They said, am I going to talk about the World Cup? Now, I got too much stuff going on to talk about the World Cup. Funny enough, soccer has been my favorite sport. That's actually number one, then track and field is number two. And it's funny, I barely talk about soccer or FIFA on here at all. But I will say this: they're the FIFA president or whatever his name is, commissioner. He's talking about the racism that they need to apologize. Great, pay us the check. I don't need an apology. Pay us the money. We done with the words and apologies. You didn't give apologies to my ancestors that you've been brutalizing and still brutalized today. An apology is gonna do what to the people that are currently being oppressed? What is that gonna do? Oh, I'm sorry I punched you, and then I'm gonna punch you tomorrow. I'm sorry that I punched you yesterday and I punched you again. No, give me the money, and then you stop messing with me. So anyway, here we go. They said this was filed. I request an automatic 6 month extension. Wait a minute. They requested 6 months extension till November 15th to file an exempt organization return. So this isn't even maybe the completed one. They needed an extension. So they're showing us something here. Look, I see it right here with y'all. See, I look at these things. They filed an extension on something. They said Sarah Reese. I guess that's the person that they filed their stuff through. Chief Financial Officer. Okay. Now, what's the budget here? Let's get to the greasy details. I'll look at everything else later. They said their revenue. Oh, wait a minute. Expenses is 11 million. Here we go. 11 point. Can you guys see my mouse on the screen? It is crazy how story about Qatar, how they treat the brown people there and how they pay off the FIFA members. And yeah, they just tried to do that right now. They could have done that same thing with World Athletics when they had it over there too. They try to do that. What are they doing? What are they doing to compensate? Like, because all they do, they will profit. Let me just show y'all the trick bag they do. They will profit off of the backs of black people with the stories and narratives, and then they'll start an organization funded by white people or backed by white people, NAACP, Black Lives Matter, the organization. All right, it'll be black people that started it, but it really was like people that they wanted to be in there. And then they'll donate to those groups that don't do anything. They'll donate to those groups that don't do anything. Now, Black Lives Matter as the phrase and as a way of life, and as it is, that is a real thing. But that organization was a trick bag. Everybody should be able to differentiate between the two. But anyway, here we go. So don't fall for the trick bag. Are they actually doing anything that is substantial? If not, then all they want to do is just tell you a narrative and a story. Just like they broke with the Dallas Cowboys when they asked them, "Oh, are you saying that this guy?" Then the lady was like, "Well, I don't know. I'm not really saying anything, and it could be." I'm like, "Okay, what's the point of you bringing it up then?" So the expenses, it looks like, are 11.1 million. The revenue is 12.2 million. So basically almost double. The gross receipts are 38.4 million. Let's see. Let's get this more organized. Okay. Okay, are we gonna go to the next page? Yeah, there we go. Okay, Max Siegel getting, oh man, my goodness. Okay, $3.8 million is Max Siegel. That's a lot of money. Wait a minute. Didn't they say that this was the 2018 numbers? Okay, so an organization that brings in $40 million, rounded up, and remember, it wasn't like that before. He gets almost 10% of the money. Isn't that a lot? You getting paid 10% of all the revenue? And then the chief financial officer or the chief operator, the COO, gets about half of that. I don't know. That sounds kind of janky here. Okay, the sponsorships and royalties are, here's the revenue right here. $20.2 million. Isn't Nike isn't Nike giving them 19? So isn't that basically Nike right there? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Nike giving them $20 million a year? Okay, let me read this comment. They have Nepal, Bangui, and other dying in the desert to build all the infrastructure and wasn't compensated their family. Shaking my head. Yeah. So yeah, here we go. Isn't this Nike just by itself? Because they say sponsorships. Isn't Nike a sponsor to USATF? So I think that's what this is. That's Nike. So that means if you take Nike out of there, dang, how much money are they really getting? Gosh, dang. Okay, events, event rights, entries, and tickets, $3.4 4 million basically rounded up. Membership fees 1.5. All right, fair enough. Sanction fees. I guess USATF sanctioned events. Okay, that makes sense. So they got 26.2 rounded up $1 million from that. So here it is. The total revenue is all the way on the bottom of the freaking page. Here we go. It's on the bottom of the page. Can you guys see the mouse? No, you can't see the mouse, can you? Can you guys see me highlight the mouse over the screen? The cursor? I don't think you guys can see it. Now, can you? Okay, so look at the bottom of the page. Like right here. Look at this last line right there. These last two lines. It says 33. So you got to look at the bottom of the page right here. 33.6. Okay, that's the revenue right there. Okay, now let's look at their expenses to see what they're bringing in. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here's what I was looking for. Look on this right side of the page right here. This is what I'm looking for. I know we got other things here, but let's go here. Okay, beginning of the year. You see it? It says A and B column. Go all the way to the bottom. That's all we got to focus on right here. Go all the way to the bottom. Okay. It says beginning of the year, $37.2 million. And at the end of the year, remember, I think this was the 2020 season then? Because when you filed 2021, or maybe this was 2021. I got to remember how the taxes are filed there. So at the end of the year, it's 46 million. So they made a good profit this time around. Because remember the previous years, they almost went under. They only had about, what was it? 400,000 plus in the bank. So USATF is now doing something right where they're bringing in money. They're bringing in some money. So they brought in $9 million of their funding balance. Now this is net assets or fund balances. The liabilities. Let's look at the liabilities though. Let's look at the liabilities. Here's one thing here. Now I'm not going to look at all of these other stuff, deferred payments and stuff like that. Now it says 28. This is the second one. So liabilities is the second column right here. I started at the bottom. I'm going from the bottom up, and I'm looking at the last line. It says 28.61, 28 million at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year it's 37.5. So wait a minute, their liabilities went the hell up. So basically they got the same amount. Oh, that's why they say total net. So actually when you decrease both of those numbers, look at the second to last line on the very bottom. They started at the beginning of the year with 9.2, but then they ended the year with 8.5. So they actually got less money together after all of that being said at the end of the year. And it confirms it on this page right here where it says 8.53. So USATF can basically run on the budget. I know some people are maybe bored of this talk right here, but USATF, this is just them alone, not World Athletics. USATF can run on a budget of basically 50 million now. I guess that's inflation adjusted numbers. So guys, let me know what you guys want to see on the next one. We're probably going to be here on the afternoon, but like I said, wait. Oh, now I see your other comment. I didn't see that. It's a major sporting event, something that perhaps will get you more subscribers. Yeah, it probably could, but it doesn't work that way unless the main people watch it. I could get more subscribers. What I found out is if you guys don't watch it first, YouTube is not really suggesting my channel. So you first have to watch these things, and then it gets put out with everything else. That's the way it gets suggested from what I have observed myself. Now their algorithm, or they could claim something different, I don't know. But from what I've observed, if you guys don't first initially watch it, a specific amount of you guys, then it doesn't suggest it out. But I think I will cover some of the World Cup. To me, it's neither here nor there. It really doesn't matter. Because the World Cup people will be short term, and then I go to talk about track and field, and then they'll expect me to talk about soccer. And I'm not really going to keep up with soccer like that. I don't have a big team. So when I have a big team, you will actually see this channel transform into multiple sports. We're literally gonna have sections per day. It's like Monday is this, Tuesday is that, Thursday is this, or whatever, or all on the same day. But they'll have like mini videos of 10 minutes each, and it'll be multiple videos talking about different sports. So that's where I eventually will be going toward. Just keep that in mind. So eventually I'll move there, but right now I can't handle it, so I just will avoid talking about it mostly. But catch you guys on the next one. You've been watching Head and Shoulders ATR.